Confusion and craziness together lead to a promiscuous way of life. Hence, the plaintiff not only admitted to cheating with another guy, she also had a threesome with her peep. That's why Mr. Maltese was convinced he didn't father her child. So to help them out in the paternity loop, we need a DNA test.
You admit to having a threesome behind the defendant's back and then sleeping with his friend 1 week later.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're unsure who fathered your 1-year-old daughter, Brooklyn.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Maltese, you claim you found Miss Phillips' diary and it contained a full list of potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
The rodeo began with Miss Phillips quickly throwing out all the lies he had told her about his age and his side friendships, and then the defendant replying to the judge when he found out about her infidelity and shared how he endured embarrassment and shock from her actions. You can't laugh at your nasty work, miss.
Back in December of 2011, broke up, and she came back to me crying, asking me to take her back. But at the time, before she even came back to me, we was at a friend's house, and she yelled at me in front of all my friends and in front of her friends also. That's why I had sex with one of your friends.
She said that out loud.
In front of all my friends. Embarrassed me, embarrassed herself.
Seems like acting selfish in the relationship is not one-sided. However, what the plaintiff said next is something you do not even blurt out in anger. Yeah, just listen to how Miss Phillips defended her actions strongly against him by sharing this in court.
I let him know that his friend, his potential friend, not the threesome, but his friend was a possibility. And he blew up on me and telling me, go be with this guy, go give him oral sex,
Your Honor.
go. And I just basically told him my kid doesn't need a dad. You're either gonna be there or you're not.
No, your child does need a dad.
Then Mr. Maltese told the judge about proof he had of the plaintiff's disloyalty from her diary when it was discussed to get to the point of view from both sides. But Miss Phillips was emotional, and she argued about his daddy's duties.
Are 18 names listed? Quite a list.
And out of those 18, 2 to 3 of them are my friends that she slept with.
Mr. Maltese, you're saying you're over taking care of a child.
Yeah.
That time you think it's your daughter.
Yeah.
So you're over there doing what you feel like you should be doing.
I'm doing what a real man
And
would
as
do.
you're cleaning,
The defendant continued his statements on other multiple father possibilities and shared that months after their daughter's birth, he discovered the plaintiff's scandals and was left broken, and the judge had to step in and called out Miss Phillips for her arrogance.
before you get to why he didn't do this and he's not the father and he's not this, you've got to take responsibility for the fact that he may not believe he is the child's father.
I told him before she was even here.
He is present in this child's life, right or wrong, but that may be the reason. And part of the reason he has to doubt Miss Phillips is because of your action.
Things got heated when the plaintiff was ranting about his irresponsible behavior towards her daughter, and she couldn't stop herself from cursing. Then, defending her respect, she said this about cheating.
I made mistakes. I forgive myself. I hold my head up high.
Is that why you're cursing in the courtroom?
Because he makes me so angry with rage.
Broken up and
This
sleeping
is
with my friends is still
He's
cheating.
talking about an adult relationship. Sure.
Why is it that you have to sleep with people he knows? That's just nasty. All the men in the world, you want to go out and do your thing.
About the father's duties question, the plaintiff shared how one night she asked Mr. Maltese's help to look after their daughter, and he acted completely ignorant in the situation. But the defendant had an answer to this as well.
I lost my car. It was in the shop. I needed him to keep her overnight. I asked him, keep her overnight, please. I work nights. I cannot go get her on the bus and take her home on the bus late at night. He left voicemails on my phone of my daughter crying, dad, dad, dad. Like, what am I gonna think as a mother that's happening to my child?
Did that happen, Mr. Maltese?
Yes, it has, Your Honor.
How could you do this when you're a father? Upon this, she called him a total control freak. After the plaintiff's witness's testimony, Miss Phillips got mad over his behavior as an irresponsible and absent dad in their daughter's life. She also compared her daughter's life to her childhood and felt broken saying this. The poor woman was so wrong, but torn at the same time.
I love you so much and I want to be there, and then he wants to say, come get your kid, and then he wants to be there, and then he doesn't want to be there. I can't deal with it. My daughter doesn't know it now, but she will. She's going to grow up seeing him come in and out of her life because he broke my heart multiple times.
Mr. Maltese, you are her father.
A 26-year-old woman came to court to open her paternity case to know the identity of her real father and wanted permission to have a DNA test to get closure. The defendant, Mr. Christian, on the other hand, completely denied her claim and said he was sure he wasn't the dad, no matter what she had been told all her life. We hope she gets the results she wants.
You opened your case hoping the court will grant you a paternity test so you can prove to the defendant that he is your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Christian, there is no need for a DNA test because you know you are not the plaintiff's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The judge asked Miss Christian why she should be granted a paternity test, and she shared a solid reason for it, but still was unsure of the truth. The troubled woman said how her life had been impacted by an in-and-out-of-life daddy. Why would you leave someone after giving them your name?
And so you've had to bear the burden of this paternity issue.
Yeah, and I've been the only one willing to step up and find out the truth and be the mature person in this situation.
The defendant replied to her cries, revealing the contrary nature of his relationship with her mother. They weren't fully committed, and he signed for the first baby, but kept his hands back for the second time, which made the plaintiff call him out for being ignorant all his life. His words don't add up.
I don't know this woman. She only been in his life for 3 years. I'm 26 years old. What can you say about this situation? I'm the innocent person in this situation. You want to sit there and cry and you a grown man and I've been going through all this? I'm the innocent person. I got a baby on the way. I need to know who my family is.
You're right. You're right.
Calm down.
The judge asked the plaintiff's witness about her mother's relationship with the defendant, and she said that she got them together and revealed he was very fatherly with Miss Christian after her birth, but things turned around when he got married. Now, listen to her crushing struggles for finding her father.
When Miss Christian was born, Mr. Christian was taking care of her like she was his child.
Exactly what I'm saying, Your
Accepting
Honor.
her.
Basically
Yes.
like a deadbeat father. Your Honor, I had to look for him when I was 7. I had to find him because I don't have my mom's last name. I have his last name. So if I'm not yours, why do I have your last name? Why do you keep being in and out of my life?
Come on, man, own your responsibilities. The witness continued, and she said that she had hidden a lot of ugly truths from her niece, but her father had been very irresponsible. Now, listen to this traumatic experience of the plaintiff, which leads them to argue with each other.
He didn't have no time for no kid.
I was living with his mother when I went back to try to get my high school diploma.
Exactly.
This
And
is the
that's
main
because we
reason
picked
why
you
I'm
up
here
first.
now,
You
because they
can't
kicked me
speak on
out
nothing. Close
a
your
week
mouth.
before Christmas.
You can't tell her to close her mouth.
And
I can't tell her to
she
close
does
her
need to
mouth.
shut up.
Let's get
some order.
The defendant said that he had tried to grow his bond with Miss Christian several times in her childhood, but it never worked. He also shared an incident with the plaintiff, but quickly stated his reasons for doing so. Both parties started arguing again. He is not owing anything in this case yet.
If you had the doubt, what made you go pick her up?
I, myself, know who my father is. I never was able to spend any time with him growing up, so I didn't want her to have to go through that type of stuff of not knowing who her father was or knowing who your father is and not being able to get the support that you need from father.
The judge asked Mr. Christian whether he signed the birth certificate, and he declined and said he had paid insurance for her, but the plaintiff called it a lie and disclosed a new debate about blood tests. Listen to him about the shocking results that made him an absent father. He could have done better, but maybe he never wanted it in the first place.
I took a blood test, 99.8% that me and her mother didn't possess the proper gene in order to create pressure.
Where did you see those results?
They sent it to me in the mail, and I wish I had kept it. And that was when she was 2 years old. Her mother has lied to her for all these years.
A doctor's testimony was brought in the case to understand the accuracy of blood test results, and it was revealed that there were still some chances of probability. But the defendant still disbelieved his paternity and shared this incident in the court.
She over there clapping, it ain't funny.
I'll punch her right.
No. Who was clapping?
She clapping and laughing like it's funny.
I have not laughed.
Oh, you clap.
Miss
You clap, but you can get it.
Because you over there downgrading
You know
somebody
what?
you don't even know.
Listen, Jerome, get her, Jerome. Miss Christian, Mr. Christian, you are not the father.
Playboys are considered the worst of all mankind. But have you ever seen one who's dumb as well? No? We'll see this case where a woman wanted the defendant to believe that he fathered her kid, but he not only denied it, but didn't even admit his 5-year relationship with the plaintiff, Miss Sales. So to get closure for her, a DNA test is needed.
Since the day my daughter was born, because she was light-skinned with gray eyes, that was not his child because I'm too dark to have a light-skinned baby.
Mr. Jackson, she said you were in a 5-year relationship. Is that true?
No, ma'am.
What were we doing, Miko?
What were you doing?
You know, she was like my side woman.
Playboy Mr. Jackson is not just careless, but dumb as well. he admitted boldly that she was just a side woman to him because she was sexy, and added that she was smacking other guys beside him. But she denied it, saying he was messing around in her house every day for a year straight. Then the plaintiff shared their relationship timeline to reveal his terrible lies.
When I moved back in town, he never let me know about this relationship he had. He never said anything to me about it. And by the time he actually started trying to confess that he had a girlfriend, we had already been together for 6 to 8 months, already having sex with each other on the regular. He's a sorry liar.
The judge asked them about pregnancy, so Ms. Sales told them the whole situation. She shared the illness about her cyst issues. They also had planned a baby, so while they were at the hospital, after some tests, they did this.
I was getting a lot of tests ran and things telling me no, I wasn't pregnant at the time because I had polyp. Nurse explained that it was really hard for me to get pregnant and my chances was very slim. But we had sex at the hospital that same night. And then—
In the hospital?
Yeah, so after they, got me together and got my body together, yeah, believe me, it wasn't that
negative.
So.
Upon the judge's question of Miss Sales' infidelity, the defendant said his friend told him about the affair with a white dude, but the plaintiff jumped up and cleared the air in this way. Then he shared another cliffhanger of a text, but she refused to keep up with his lies. I mean, things are not adding up here.
He is lying.
So what about the guy with the lie?
A random person he found on my messenger that I guess had said, "What's up, sexy?" Extra 100 guys that do that too, and he picked that one out because he was light-skinned.
Oh, so you're saying he concocted the cheating story after Micaiah was born?
Yeah.
Based upon her skin color?
Yes.
Well, the Playboy seems to be in trouble as he can't back up himself on the court. He was given another chance to turn in his lies as he brought the conception calendar, but his dates are even more complex than a woman's menstrual dates. His fishy dates turned back at him harder than ever.
So when do you finally find out Miss Sales is pregnant?
It's around like September.
There it is, September.
Yes, ma'am.
Micaiah was born on May 9th. So is it your testimony that you didn't have sex,
Yes.
nor in August,
Yes, Your Honor.
nor in September?
He's
No sex
lying.
with
He
that
just
all,
said
yeah.
he loved it. Why would he stop? He is lying.
I mean, he looked like he lying. I don't even have to say it.
The defendant wasn't believable at all, so his witness was brought to the court, and she gave testimony about a DNA test that the plaintiff refused to do. The test refusal by Miss Sales led to more questions, and even brought up a funny story about the case. After all the lies, it was time to get to the results.
I guess she seen me more serious about it, because I've been saying I'm supposed to be getting a DNA test for a while.
And did you all ever park and get out the car and go towards the courthouse?
We did.
And then what happened?
We left. It was just too much at the time.
This lie is too much.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
An on and off relationship is always a headache, but what can you do if someone wants to have it in their life by choice? A woman wanted to prove the paternity of her youngest child to her ex, with whom she already had 4 kids before. Her purpose is to win him back, but the defendant said she was a rocky person and didn't accept the baby. So, to get answers for her, a DNA test is required.
It was good in the beginning when we first started having children. And then after that, me and her started both doing our own little thing. And we was already about to split, but she ended up getting pregnant. But at that time, she was already messing around with other guys.
The testimony started with the plaintiff and defendant both telling about their relationship. Ms. Thomas said they grew apart because he always cheated on her. And Mr. Nelson said he was still on good terms with her, but once he tried getting back with her. And the plaintiff's response was this.
He cheated on me throughout almost our whole entire relationship.
So, Miss Thomas, why put up with that?
We went through hard times. Why wouldn't you want to make something like that work with somebody you had all these years with, all these kids with, and you just want to...
That's why I don't even know the chat. Man.
He gave up the relationship. I wish it was that easy for me during them times to just throw it away.
Miss Thompson continued and said she didn't feel guilty about cheating on him and did it to even the score with her boyfriend in their 5-year relationship. The defendant then said she was sleeping with another guy besides him at the same time, and she denied it with her proof. Man, how were they cheating but still hooking up?
How long had you all been together when you discovered she was cheating?
5?
Yeah.
5 years and 4 children. So Jakai is potentially your 5th child together.
It's hard for me to put a nail on that if she was messing with me and the same guy around the same time. When I got back from North
Your Honor,
Carolina,
that is not true.
I said, you gained some weight. She was like, oh, I've been eating a lot.
Here is more lying and confusion about cheating. The plaintiff admitted her cheating to Mr. Nelson calmly, but the defendant added that he got to know about it through his friends. Upon this, she denied it and shocked everyone about his actions after her pregnancy news.
He was going around telling everybody that I was pregnant. Up until the time he met Miss Campbell, that's when he started denying my son. Mind you, he was cheating on me with her. I didn't know about her until I found out she was calling him through Facebook. And he was trying to lie then because we were still messing around even when he was with her.
Mr. Nelson's wife gave testimony and shared that she had discovered his cheating through a video and also during a meetup together with the plaintiff. Okay, so he had side chicks going on from both sides, huh? The defendant was too confused to choose between his side chick and wife, so he finally did this.
Me and my wife had got into some problems, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, what would be different this time if I did come back? My mama told me, that's your covenant, you can't break your covenant because that's between me, her, and God. I broke my covenant, and I've been repenting for it and stuff like that. My wife, we back on good terms now.
My hopes for any results are gone. But the judge asked both of them about the kid, and the defendant said they never planned the baby after 5 years. But Miss Thomas denied it and showed astonishing proof of Mr. Nelson, who was still an official cheater.
He calls me and tells me how much he misses me and wants to be with me. It's not the other way around, and I have messages.
So what is your plan for real? You the plan. So are you really gonna leave her this time? I want my family back. I hear you, but you said this last time, and I really need to know if you serious this time. This the kind of conversation a married man's having?
The defendant's demeanor was too complicated for a result, so the judge addressed both women and advised them to be better in their decisions. Upon this, the plaintiff shared her broken feelings over this mess. The poor woman got nothing but pain. And now, the results were revealed.
I didn't know he was married until, a week later, before I had my son. He didn't tell me. He denied it when he came to the hospital. 6 years, 5 kids, sacrifices, everything we've been through, it's like she got it easy.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Nelson, you are the father.
Miss Austin is back with the same dilemma again. Yeah, if Mr. Wallace is the father of her child. Just so you know, she's doing it for the 3rd time for the same man who chooses to stand at the podium with his side chick and blame baby mama for not being faithful. Sure, if you want to play like that, sir.
Ryan Wallace was still bouncing back from me and Kendrelyn. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Ronell. And she got pregnant with her baby, with her son. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again with my 3rd baby.
Mr. Wallace stood persistent that he did not father the 9-month-old Ronell, but he said the same thing last time. Yada yada, I'm not the father, mother is pernicious. Let's take a quick look at how things went down back then.
She has about 6 boyfriends like you. Don't come on here and try to act like
Hold on,
you
Mr.
so perfect.
Wallace, you're not gonna address a woman in this court that way. You better pipe yourself down.
Don't flip people off. You don't use profanity in my courtroom. You understand me?
No.
You want to go out of here?
Yeah.
Mr. Wallace, get out the court.
What are you gonna do about it?
Than I thought you
Let's
were.
go.
Get
We're going
out the courtroom, Mr. Wallace.
You saw how violent this man can be when things don't go his way. But anyway, back to the hearing. Things had shifted. Well, for the women here, but Daddy was on the same back and forth ride between the two. So the judge went on and asked the defendant his doubt.
She's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. They would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. For about the 5th, 6th time, I called her texting different men.
Well, where your proof at?
You saying that didn't happen?
Where your proof at?
All of the accusations were a little hard for the plaintiff to digest because all the things allegedly being blamed on the girl was actually his game. Like, come on, why stoop that low? And you can imagine how Miss Austin reacted to it.
We are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. So you believe she was sleeping around?
If I'm dead, so why you keep on sleeping with me? Why? 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 I'm pregnant again. Why?
Yeah, why go for such a person, Mr. Honorable? Well, apparently, he had no explanation for it. All of this mess was because of him, and when the plaintiff pointed this out, it ticked the girlfriend off, and she went ballistic like this.
You got low
Ladies, ladies, you guys want to hear the case?
Let's get some order.
Yeesh, people, this is a courtroom, not your backyard. You can't just wrangle each other like that. But anyway, next up, it got revealed that baby mama was talking to other men, but she claimed that she didn't fool around. It was just harmless conversations, and she was doing it out of spite.
Trying to get back to Aunt Ranielle for the things that he has done to me.
At the end of the day, you all can see now that 2 wrongs never make a right. They make more wrong. And then you were wrong for being pregnant and talking to other men and expecting him to then believe your child is his child automatically.
Yeah, preach, Judge. These kids need some good schooling. This is just a classic case of babies having babies. And while she was at it, newsflash, baby daddy thinks he can fool around, but his woman can't, so he was putting them through such turmoil.
It's because I moved in because of Ranielle. Because of Ranielle. Ranielle left me to go be with Mr. Robert. He don't care. It's all about him, and he doesn't care, and I'm done. Like, what more can I put into this?
That's false.
Wow. What more can anyone do indeed to keep a man? Alas, Mr. Wallace had no sympathy for his baby mama. In his words, she was just putting on a show, which made the judge say, what were they thinking? Why are you with this guy anyway?
I see a young woman here that desperately is trying to have a relationship with somebody that
doesn't want me.
Miss
Everything
Austin,
she told you
I
was
don't
a lie.
even know if he doesn't, it's not that he don't want you or he don't want Miss Roberts. Mr. Wallace hasn't grown enough where he can be in a position to want anybody or to truly commit to anybody.
Even after that, Miss Austin wished that the guy at the podium was the baby daddy. More like she was sure. Well, was pretty brave, I'd say. And all the admiration she was getting rubbed Mr. Wallace really hard. And he went like this.
Mr. Wallace!
You sitting up here, you taking her
Come
that.
on!
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up. Jerome, just give him a minute. Give him a minute.
Go out here.
Talk about going crazy. But screaming and yelling doesn't prove anything. And it hits the defendant after a while. So he was back in the courtroom to push his side. However, now it was time to push that envelope cover.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father.
Daughters against their own mother? Yep, promiscuous pasts and paternity voids can drive people to all desperate actions. And that's why Williams sisters are in paternity court, to get things even.
Tell me about the paternity issues.
It was this man who was supposedly had been my father, and we were all wanting to know, like his family, him, my aunt that raised me and Jasmine, we wanted the paternity test. We were all there and ready. She never showed up.
But mommy at the podium refused to be portrayed as the villain by her own children. She straight up ruled out her daughters as wire pullers like herself. However, she was interrupted by her oldest, who told the court how she found that her alleged father was not her daddy, and her other sisters backed her up.
When I was about 17 years old, me and her had an argument, and she said, that's why he's not your father. Trying to hit it at a low point, always been something, always eating at me, not knowing who my father was. Not knowing who my father was. I feel like at least if she was there, to try to take the place of my father, having a mother at least, maybe it wouldn't have bothered me so much.
Younger Williams told the court how they were neglected not only by their parents, but also by both sides of the family. This was not just it. Further, it got revealed that still, different men came up and claimed to be their fathers, while her mother refuses to recognize them.
This is the saddest thing, Your Honor. After I had my son was 3 months. We go to the gas station. A man notices my mother, but she does not notice him. He calls out her name. Who are you? He's talking about some, so you don't know who I am. Talking about some, I don't know you. Talking about some, yes you do. She's talking about some, oh, Lisa, they're your daddy. How is you not gonna know this is my daddy when you look at him? But you tell me, that's your daddy.
Well, Miss Liddell thought it was a good excuse. Nevertheless, plaintiffs were taking none of it. They straight up blamed their mother for the alienated treatment they had throughout their childhood. I mean, they had to move through 5 houses, and this had raised animosity between them.
Yeah, what would I do for you? One thing I could do for y'all.
You didn't try.
Yes, sir. When I did try, when I did.
No, you did.
You ain't mean to y'all love me. When I can do something for y'all, then y'all always, then y'all stab me in the back.
Ladies, let's get some order, ladies.
Wow, such pain and bitterness. Their dynamic lacks very maternal warmth. And the biggest twinge was that Miss Liddell had no idea who their father might be. This means they can't even get anyone tested for paternity. And she had this explanation for it.
I did me. I ran the streets. Okay, you can keep your slab remarks. I was hoarse. I didn't care about nobody or nothing.
But can you help them figure this out? You say you don't know if James is their father.
Yes,
Do
Your
you
Honor.
know who are the other people that could possibly be their father?
I have a couple of people in mind. Like I said, I ran the streets, so I laid down with anybody.
Well, they had only one man for a paternity test in this hearing, James, the alleged father of the three. However, Mommy wasn't rooting for anything, because she wasn't sure if Mr. Williams was the father of any of them, and neither now was he.
You believe you are these young girls' biological father. Do you believe that?
Deep in my heart, Your Honor, and I hate to say it, and it's hurting me to say it too, but no, I do not.
You don't act like it, so it shouldn't be hurting you.
The potential father testified that when he met the defendant, she was very fast, and he always had paternity doubt. Well, sir, if you had any, instead of ignoring them, you should have gone for a test, right? As all of his neglect had ruined these girls.
Never had that father to show you this is what love is. This is how a man's supposed to treat you. We never had that.
Mr. Williams is here and he knows he's been absent. How has it affected you specifically?
He don't even have no kind of relationship with me. Don't try. I'm reaching out to you. I'm the child in this case.
The judge could clearly see that the mother's wrong choices had messed these girls up, and they were not ready to give their mother any sympathy. And the defendant's words were just making things worse.
Whatever come out my mouth is like a lot of them, even if I mean it.
Because it always feels a lot.
Sometimes I just don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how.
Let's get some order.
The broken family was at the mercy of the DNA result because no one was ready to cut each other any slack. With respect and love out of the equation, the only truth is what binds people. Let's get to that.
When it comes to Ms. Jasmine Williams, Mr. Williams, you are her father. When it comes to Ms. Lisa Williams, Mr. Williams, you are not her father.
The moment you step into the cheating revenge game, you and your child lose. This lesson is hard to learn sometimes, and a paternity court is often a place for it. And Miss Funzy is up for such an encounter with Judge Lake.
My family's on the line. I love Jordan. We've been dating going on 7 years. Been dating since the 10th grade. And the denying that he has towards my 1-month-old child, Joaquin, which we play in the house together, is causing problems with our relationship.
Mr. Irving told the court he found out about the cheating part just weeks before the pregnancy, and he was sure that the child wasn't his. The plaintiff found such remarks very cold, but he responded like this.
She did that to herself.
You say she did it to herself?
She cheated.
How did you find out she cheated?
One day I couldn't sleep, so here it is 4 in the morning. I seen her sleeping and her phone was right beside her. Some told me she spent the night at her friend's house with this other guy.
She always going out with her friends. He could never
He go out with his friends too also. Yes, he do. Yes, he do.
After this, Judge stepped out. It turns out that baby mama used her friend's place for her illicit affair, though she testified doing it to get back at the defendant. But things were not that simple.
Mr. Irvin had never looked at the phone. If something didn't tell him, would you have told him about the cheating?
Yes, I was gonna come clean to him at the right time.
When was the right time?
Because he came to me when he had told me he cheated, and I would feel like I should come to him because I cheated.
Quite a tit for tat they had going. But guess what? There's a baby at stake now. And the worst part was that Miss Funzy ruined her own pregnancy report. No, we're not kidding. Watch for yourself.
She scribbled over it and wrote what she wanted on the paperwork.
What was on the line that talked about how many weeks along?
I couldn't tell because she wrote over it.
What was written over it?
Just like a scribble.
A scribble of what?
I couldn't tell what number it was.
So you can't even read what was written over it?
No, ma'am.
I had doubts like why I can't understand the rights.
Still, the guy at the podium went to the length of stepping up for the child. He was there for the whole pregnancy and even signed the birth certificate. Though we admire him, still not a good decision.
I truly understand your sentiment and that it comes from a good place. You do understand that that's a bad decision when you have paternity doubt.
If you got doubt, don't sign that birth certificate because whether that's your child or not, you're gonna have, that's acknowledging, hey, I'm gonna be there for this child for 18 years. That's my child.
Yes, it is.
So what about the other guy? Was he ready to fill in the daddy box? No, not at all. He had made a statement sent to the court, and this statement picked some messy skeletons in the closet.
He told me about the things that was going on between her and Jordan. First time me and her had sex, she came over and saw me. We had sex in Jordan's car.
That's a
did use protection.
Fake page.
You said
Jordan, that's a lie. You know that.
Hold on,
you
finish the statement.
Mine ain't lying.
Jordan.
Why is you lying to me?
Jordan, I'm not lying to you.
Man, if this not my baby, I'm through with this relationship.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Miss Funzy ruled this statement as false, but the expression reflected that there was some truth to it. The defendant, on the other hand, went off the wall listening to them. And I mean, come on, would you blame the guy?
I worked at a squad. I let her use my daddy car every day. My daddy just died. And I let you keep my car every day while I go to work. And this what you did?
Jordan.
Why is you lying to me?
Jordan, I'm not lying to you.
Next, the judge counted back the birth of the child, which made things even harder. Now it was time to get to the truth. So when the judge implored the baby mama to confess, she testified about trying to fool Mr. Irving and his family. And that bugged the judge hard.
Tit for tat, sexual revenge. We don't win that game. And we do this tit for tat thing and we lose because we end up pregnant. And this can't all be for revenge. I mean, we can't be here with a 1-month-old baby, beautiful, innocent baby whose paternity is in question. Was the revenge worth it?
No. Wow, it was quite painful to watch such a revelation. But the truth had to come out. We did feel bad for the baby and his mama. But nonetheless, when you try to fight fire with fire, you're only gonna get burned. Let's just get to that result.
The biological father is Winfield.
I knew it, I told you. I knew it wasn't his baby. When
Jordan,
mama went to the hospital and seen that baby, she knew it. A mother know they child. A mother know they child. My mama went to the hospital when she had that baby and said, that is not my son's child.
Life turned upside down when Mr. Bell dropped a bombshell after 18 years, asserting that Miss Other is not his biological daughter. Determined to establish her parentage, she brought her father to court for a compact proof of her lineage. However, the defendant countered with lunatic allegations that Miss Mary had bamboozled him.
Mr. Bell, you say you're sorry this hurts Ms. Others, but you may not be her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state that the plaintiff's mother fraudulently claimed you fathered another one of her children, and now you believe she's lying again.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial had a dramatic start. It turned out that mother has already tried to trap him in paternity mess, and when he believed her, it turned out the baby was not his. I must say, if that's the case, then the defendant is on point.
My daughter was about 2 years old and she wound up pregnant. So of course I'm being excited. When the baby is finally born, my sister and I go by to see my daughter and the new baby. There's a doorbell, she never answered it. And I'm like, are you gonna answer the door? And she was like, well, no, I'm not gonna answer it. Long story short, this other gentleman comes in saying that he was the father, and she's also telling me that I'm the father as well.
Dramatically, it was revealed that he doubts paternity and he wants a DNA test. But the young girl revealed that even for 18 years, he did not deny. But he still has not been there for her. So he's nothing but a deadbeat father after all.
I was at McDonald's and he met me up at McDonald's. That's when he said he wants a paternity test. And I agreed to it, but it never happened.
But wait, you were up at McDonald's when you just up there like a normal teenager. And here comes your father. And he drives up to you or comes sees you and says, hey, I just want a paternity test?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I was really hurt. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been there for me.
However, when the judge asked the supposed father about the false incident played by him, he put on a clown mask and pretended as if he'd just lost his memory at that moment. But someone please remind him, Judge Lake is in front of him.
Mr. Bell, if you forget a fact like that, your credibility is shot.
That wasn't the topic of conversation when I met her at McDonald's. When we did talk about it, it was not at McDonald's. We all decided that it was going to happen.
You were together before and you felt like it was a family conversation.
To clear things up, Miss Mary stepped up to the podium and alleged that Mr. Bell was already aware that there was a possibility of the other guy being the father. But he didn't let those statements approach him like this.
He also knew that there was a possibility that there was another man involved.
That is not true.
Yes, it is,
That is
Your
not
Honor.
true.
When both men were at the house after the baby was born, it was no big thing to you because you had already told both of them.
I told both of them, and that's why I got the paternity test done.
She's a
because I wasn't.
Okay, so when Judge Lauren asked the granny about what type of relationship she had with Miss Tiana, it revealed that she has no relationship with her. Further, she made some serious allegations against Miss Mary, but Mommy defended them like that.
All I know is that I tried to bond with the baby, with the little boy, when I found out that he wasn't my grandson. I was very devastated.
Her mother could be lying again.
Yes, most definitely. Because she is a
Your
liar.
Honor. I'm not lying.
What about 4 kids, 4 baby daddy?
That doesn't make me a bad person.
I didn't say you were bad, I said you were a liar.
The defendant revealed that she went to see her and the bombshell exploded on him that her daughter was pregnant. And she approached him for money after having a baby. But the drama flares up when Mr. Bell claims that Miss Other called her and said her daughter is just using him.
She came to my job with my grandbaby and asked me for more money. I gave her the money. Her mother calls me and said, why did you give her money? She's doing nothing but using you for your money.
That's not true, Your Honor.
If you
That's
were
not
sure,
true.
lying.
That is not true.
Lie.
That's not true.
That's
Your
not
Honor.
true.
Now she's following in her mother's footsteps.
As it is manifest that a child's upbringing is the most basic and vehement right, in this episode, we can see that this young woman has no respect for her elders. And all of this might be due to the toxic situation she's been in. So whatever happened in their trial, Judge Lauren concluded it like that.
You have no respect for your elders. In my world, back in the day, what we call it is home training. I know maybe you are disappointed. Maybe they haven't treated you the way you think they should have treated you and your daughter. When your daughter stands and speaks to an older woman like she does, and you don't correct her, that's wrong.
However, their to and fro allegations were all over and made things more complicated for the girl. And the parents were busy in their dispute, so the last hope to get closure was to reveal whatever was hiding in the DNA envelope. So let's find that out.
In the case of Others versus Bell, as it pertains to 18-year-old Tiana, Mr. Bell, you are not.
I knew it!
Thank you!
Thank you!
I knew it!
I knew it! Told you! He's a liar! No, he's a liar!
And I know who the daddy
I told
is.
you!
Miss Sanchez met her soulmate on Tinder, and in just one meeting, she knew that he was the one. The only bad part was that, initially, Mr. Turman's love was not strong enough to tie her. Fast forward, her looseness created trust issues between them.
This has gone on for 2 years of accusations and lies and the fact that he doesn't trust me. It's very hurtful, and it means a lot to me today that we prove once and for all that he's the father of my son. Put it all to bed after this.
The woman was spiritually married to the guy at the podium. Like that ever works. Because it wasn't satisfactory to keep them attached, and the defendant testified that hard in the court. According to him, Miss Sanchez can slip up for any man too easily.
I couldn't go through with it because there's too many trust issues. And I feel like if you don't have trust, you can't go forward with the relationship.
Too many doubts. Well, it had to do with the way they connected. As we mentioned before, that couple came across each other on Tinder, and both were seeing multiple people. But the alleged father stopped, whereas mommy was still on the speed dial.
We met on Tinder, and I'm swiping, and I came across her profile, and I super liked. She liked me back, we connected. So the second night is when we actually hung out. We had some drinks, one thing led to another, and we had sex the first night.
That's definitely a super swipe, super like, whatever you called it.
Super swiping landed the getting intimate right in the first time, though the plaintiff blamed it on the alcohol and lack of ground rules, leading them to the ambiguous equation where the defendant was settling for the baby mama who wasn't ready to stick to one man.
I showed my friends pictures of her because I'm hype. And so I showed them pictures and they send me a video like, yo, isn't this the girl you're talking to? She's at a bar giving somebody else her number, it looks like.
Nope.
So it just started to form like issues with trust. If she slept with me the first night that we met, she probably could have slept with him the first night.
So there goes the doubt. Grimm was eating the potential father up. What added fuel to the situation was that multiple men kept coming and telling Mr. Turman that they had slept with the girl of their dreams. Yeesh, anyone would be frustrated over that.
Did you have open when you were with Mr. Turman?
Exactly.
We were just talking.
So I'm right, you was on the party line and you had stopped swiping.
Yes.
And you was on automatic swipe.
Legal limbo? Love limbo? It was a limbo indeed. However, things didn't get any better, even after them moving in together. Now and then, something would happen that would instigate Mr. Turman's doubt more, like this odd one, for instance.
Men's boxers in the trunk. Now, I know for sure these aren't mine, so.
Jerome, I don't even know if I want to see that evidence, though.
They wash it? Yeah, I'll get it.
You know I'm a germaphobe. Put it on this pen. Exhibit A, men's boxers.
Exhibit A, another suspicion bombshell, I say. How would you explain this, Gabriella? Well, in her defense, it was a laundry mishap in which she had brought some of the belongings of a male relative accidentally. And they were not just boxers, but also socks, which the defendant clearly had ignored.
One thing of boxers. There was socks in there. There was all kinds of random stuff in there.
I didn't see it.
I'm sure you didn't.
But a whole pair of men's boxer shorts is the one thing in your trunk out of all the laundry?
That's an unfortunate coincidence. But that's exactly what happened. That's it.
Boy, talk about a series of unfortunate confidence. After this, then the pregnancy part came in. Ms. Sanchez told the court how she had conceived their baby on their trip to Vegas, but the defendant testified that on that very trip, she was caught feeling another man. Another one of Destiny's freaks, I guess. FYI, there was a statement about it.
So my friend Joel back around October showed me a girl he met and was starting to talk to on Tinder back when I was in California. But like mid-October, I was at a bar or club and I saw her there talking to another guy, feeling on him. And that's the statement from your friend. And that date was what?
October 15th, and I believe that could have been the conception date.
That does look bad. Though Ms. Sanchez didn't change her initial testimonies, Judge Lauren was still having difficulty with what the baby mama was saying. So she moved on to the results to end all the confusion.
You admittedly is still on Tinder, having open conversation with folks and meeting folks because you didn't think you were exclusive. You got boxers in your trunk. You aren't the father. This child isn't yours. You really just put the needle on the haystack. Mr. Turman, you are the father.
Mama Lindsay is not dumb enough that she would let her own son ruin his music career over a trifling mother and a baby who isn't his. So today, the mother is standing against her own son to set the record straight.
Tell the court about Miss Cade and your son's relation.
Nicole is a liar. She's thirsty.
Excuse me, Your Honor, that is not true.
Let me tell you,
Hold on. Miss Lindsay, tell me now, what's going on in this relationship that has you so upset?
Your Honor, before she was ever with my son, she was my daughter right here, Demetrius's best friend. So she has a history.
Whoa, so many loud accusations in one breath. Hello, woman, let the other people speak. Something was definitely up in the palooza. That's why the judge moved to the mommy in question, asking the reason behind such strong animosity.
She didn't want me to be friends with Demetrius. Whatever, that's fine, but we were still friends. I've been in love with Marvin since I was 16. She just has a problem with our whole relationship, and it has nothing to do with the baby.
Why do you think she has this issue?
I don't know.
You have no idea.
She's had a problem with me. I was nice to her in the beginning. I never done anything.
The angry grandma explained herself by saying that the young defendant was trying to rip her son from her, and that was unacceptable. Miss Lindsay never wanted her daughter to mingle with Miss Cade. Ironically, now she had her son in a paternity trap.
She had a C-section. I tried to run up in that delivery room. They called security on me because I was gonna be the first one to see that baby. I love all kids.
Security on you.
They called security. They showed did.
Running like that in the delivery room? Isn't that a little too much, madam? Well, the plaintiff claimed that her son was too naive and she was trying to protect him. But did you have to act that crazy? Maybe her extremism is what's getting the job done.
Well, shouldn't your son be the first one along with the mother?
No, because he's too naive.
Mr. Wells, do you believe the baby is yours?
I hope that the baby is mine. With everything in my heart, I hope that it's my baby.
I think he would
I've
believe
been there
it more
for the baby
if
since
she didn't
day one.
keep
Hope
interjecting
and
and saying
believe
no.
are two different things.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact.
Even though he was standing tall at the defendant's podium, Mr. Well wasn't sure either if he was the father, because his girlfriend herself had confessed about sleeping with someone else while they were on a break.
I believe that it's my baby and I want it to be my baby.
So when you say, I don't know for a fact.
Her hair is real slick and curly. This is the best hair today.
Good hair. I have good hair.
You don't have no good hair. You just a liar.
I got good hair.
Hold on, this can't just be about hair, can it? What else? Are there any other factors? Well, about that, turns out there was one. Wait for it. It's the toenail that gives it away. Apparently, the whole Well family has a signature toenail, which was showcased like this.
Jerome, take a close look at toes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stand up.
Yeah, see this stuff right here?
Boy, you know you should have put some lotion on your mother was gonna do this.
Going straight up, sir. You see that? You see this baby toe? This is my child. It don't grow like everybody else.
Jerome,
it goes
do you
straight
see
up.
it?
I see it. I've got the same problem.
Thank you. Thank
Jerome,
you.
oh no!
A lot of confusion going on here. Next, the judge called in the best friend as the witness, who told about the promiscuous tendencies of the defendant. how she lists men spellbound with her love, and the baby was more likely theirs.
It doesn't
She didn't
matter
tell me
what
until
we do.
after the fact that she had unprotected sex.
So
way after
whether they were on a break or not, there's still a 50-50 chance pretty much that this child could either be your brother's or someone else.
It could be a 10% chance that it's his and 10% chance of nine other. I don't know.
Hold on now. Wait a minute now. That's just getting ridiculous.
These people were more focused on their clash of egos than the beautiful child. I mean, why neglect a child's warmth and care just because you don't like their mother? Is that a way to act? However, the plaintiffs further had this explanation for their attitude.
Did you want to add
She ain't gonna always be your girlfriend.
Let's get some order. Ms. Johnson, what would you like to add?
Another reason that I don't believe that this would be his is because, like I said, she lies so much. This is not the first time that she's betrayed me when it came to a man. Second time, and it's just repetitive lies and
Thank
things
you.
that she doesn't tell us until after
I
the fact.
rest my case, I sure do.
Nonetheless, the defendant wasn't the only one hiding the truth. It further got revealed that Mr. Wells' sister knew about the pregnancy. Still, she hid it from her brother in hopes of not losing her sibling.
This is destroying the fabric of many of your relationships because you're one with Miss K, your sister, and your mother.
Yeah, so I'm torn between the family and just all three of
We're
these
gonna break this up
individuals
today,
right here.
sugar.
We ain't breaking up nothing. He's
You
gonna be
not
right
gonna
back
be with
with
you.
me.
Just want your money, son.
Oh boy, these people are cray-cray. They're focused on everything except the baby. It's like they can't help but to act like children themselves, hiding pregnancies, sleeping with multiple men, and showing off toenails. Let's end this charade for good.
Mr. Well, you are her father.
Titled Double Trouble, Rajot's family came to paternity court to solve not just their paternity dispute, but also their trust issues. The only bummer was the 2-year-old daughter was paying for the friction between them.
Now, Mrs. King-Rajot, tell the court why you're here today.
I'm here today to prove to my husband that our daughter Destiny is in fact his. It is tearing our family apart pieces by pieces because he denies her.
You heard the woman. The daddy was neglecting his youngest. It was further revealed that Mr. Rajot took care of his other children as well. And when the judge asked the plaintiff about these accusations, he brushed him off like this.
I may stay distant a little bit, due to my concerns. I treat her the same as I treat all the other children.
He's lying right now.
Tell me why you have the concern.
All of my family and her family all have brown hair and brown eyes, and this child has blonde hair and blue eyes.
The baby's looks stirred doubt in the alleged mind, while he was claiming that there was blondness on either side of the family. But baby mama added that he was a foster child, and such verdicts were based on assumptions.
So maybe somebody back in the part of his family he doesn't know could have blonde hair, could have blue eyes, could have something.
Yeah, you're
That's
lying
an
about
interesting
that.
point,
No,
Mr.
you know it's
Rajot.
true.
How do you address that?
My dad actually had brown hair and brown eyes, and so I think it's passed on genetically to my family. It's
just
clear to
sounds
see
crazy
right
right now.
there that it's blonde hair and blue eyes.
He's crazy.
You're sitting here lying.
Because baby mama found the appearance argument not valid, Edward testified that he was locked up during conception time. Quite a point, but Miss Rajot nullified all of his claims as lies, because she never cheated on him.
Cheated on my husband. I've never had any sexual nothing.
That's a lie.
No,
That's a lie.
it's not like you'll see when the lie detector test comes.
Mommy was rock hard confident. She knew who her baby daddy was. Nonetheless, the plaintiff pointed out the incident in which one of his friends showed a flirty text from the defendant, which was about enough to raise paternity doubt. Mommy, how do you respond to that one?
Wanted to see that he probably was doing himself. That's what he saw.
Was there a text?
No.
Yes, there was.
So,
No.
Yes, there
You
was.
never
You know
sent
there
that
was
text.
too.
No.
Yes, there was.
Interesting.
Sacramento was straight up denying any such entanglement, but the hubby pulled another incentive related to her friend. Apparently, her gal pal was famous for a random guy she met at bars, and he was sure that the mommy was also up to such antics.
So you're saying she has a friend that is a little promiscuous?
Well, I'd actually heard from the event today. I went out to a bar that night, and she had been kissing on another girl, so...
My friend was doing it. What she does is her business. What I do is my business. And he gets twisted and tries to act like just because she wants to be a dirty, nasty hoe don't mean I have to be one.
Ooh, woman, you got that right. Still, nothing has been proven that would call for a DNA test. Let's just ask the wifey why she was opting for the lie detector test. because I'm sure the goofy husband wasn't up to any good either.
I was 6 months pregnant with our first child. I went to the doctor for a routine checkup. A few days later, I got a call from the nurse telling me I had to come in and get some antibiotics because I have an STD. And if I'm not cheating, where else did I get it from?
What did she just say? Looks like someone was just too quick to point fingers, wasn't he? And like anyone at fault, he was going off the wall about such revelations and blaming his wife for doing the same thing.
16-year relationship, if the lie detector test comes back and the DNA results come back, then I'm through. When we get home, it's over. I'm
You
packing
don't
up
get to
and getting
pick
out.
when you're through, baby boy. I say when you go,
Mr.
like I have in the
about you.
Yeah, none of that tough guy attitude is gonna work here, because Judge Lake can't be played that easily. Now, it was about this swindling. The moment the judge pushed that button, it got out that Mr. here was on an infidelity roller coaster, riding with a woman twice his age.
There's a possibility he has a child by this dirty, nasty little troll that he cheated on me with before.
That's not true, Your Honor. I've been with this same woman for half.
Same thing, while denying fault on their own part, Judge Lake started to get bugged.
You doing the biology, she doing the psychology. You all got a whole bunch of education going up in here. If only we could figure out how to do the marriage.
Yeah, they were happy once. In fact, they were madly in love. The couple had a cute island wedding, and very soon into their marriage, Edward started cheating on his wife. The guy had commitment issues, as he kept hitting on everyone, including his in-laws.
Mr. Rizzo, are you
like I said, a dirty,
on her
nasty
family members?
Your Honor, with this situation.
What is the thing?
The thing is, I've been with the same woman since I was more than half my life, since I was 15 years old. You know, I started to get in the itch and wanted to go outside of our relationship.
So the guy got bored with being with the same woman. How can he say such things? This wasn't the only factor, as in Edward's words, Mommy's weight was also pushing him away. So, you can imagine where this was going.
A husband, you've got to understand.
You act like you're pretty or something.
You act like you perfect
No,
or
but
something.
the point is that's your wife. You're supposed to love her unconditionally.
Yeah, the keyword unconditionally, sir. The way the judge came to the cheating with the family member part. Well, turns out that Mr. Rizzo was caught getting cozy with his own sister-in-law. Ish, dirty, nasty.
She should know me better than that.
That's
through
why.
Through thick and
That's
thin,
why
we've
there's
always
another
been there.
situation.
Through the rough edges, we've always ended up to get out the rough edges.
You have betrayed her in other ways, but you're saying you would not betray her in that.
Never.
We get back on the rough edges because I forgive his life.
It's like their trust issues have gotten them to this point that they're doing nothing but going in circles. So, it's clear they both expect each other to go low, then lower. So there was only one solution left to settle this once and for all.
You are her father. I want to tell you both that you passed. You've never cheated on your husband. He did not sleep with any of your family members.
A man fathered two sons from different women, but credited them with the same name. See, in this case, Mr. Macon dragged the defendant to the court, saying that she was trying to pin her baby boy on him, and he has concrete evidence to prove his testimony. Let's watch.
You claim you can prove he got you pregnant at the same time, and now you both have 2-year-old children named Stephen Macon Jr.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Macon, you claim to have concrete evidence that will prove to the court there's no possibility that you could be Miss Puckett's child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial began with the man's suspicion. He told the court that the plaintiff has multiple kids from multiple fathers. Huh. After this case, maybe there will be more potential fathers in this run. But anyway, let's determine if his evidence was really concrete or if it was just a sham show.
She got 5 kids by 5 different baby dads.
And you could be the 6th.
No, I ain't. If we didn't have sex till like 3 months after, I wouldn't even have sex with her. 3 weeks after I met her, she got my
Go
name
right upstairs
tattooed
to
on
the
her
attic.
neck.
You got his name tattooed on your neck 3 weeks after
We ain't
you
even
met her?
had sex yet.
No.
Oops. Folks, a double relationship can cause double trouble. Even though Mr. Macon was busy with 2 women at one time, he did not let anyone catch him red-handed. I guess he was an expert at playing safe.
We was dating. He was treating me real good. He buy me stuff. He gave me money when I needed it. If I needed anything, my kids anything, he'd do for them. When I was pregnant, he was rubbing on my belly like he was happy and he was concerned about it. And I have a picture of him rubbing on my belly when I was about
Let me see
step
that
one.
picture. Jerome, will you hand it to me, please? Mr. Macon, are those your hands and your jacket?
Yeah.
However, things were quite serious because now there was a baby in question. And did it change anything? Not at all, as Daddy was still clowning and asserted that he was trapped by baby mama. However, Judge Lauren did not buy that at all and thrashed him like this.
Yeah, I felt like it was too easy. You trying to throw it at me. Okay,
Well,
I
you
see
called
it.
it. You had sex with her. I couldn't imagine. Giving someone their father's name is about creating lineage, line.
Right.
Not this way. Not two, right?
Right.
So now this is serious.
Here comes the plot twist. Miss Puckett bolted out of the blue the plans of Mr. Macon about moving together as a couple. And to prove it, she had some solid proof. Huh. You know what, folks? Screenshots never lie.
If it was his, it come out to be his, and we was gonna make love to the sunrise.
Right, I said that.
So you have evidence of that?
I have one of the evidence.
Jerome, will you please hand that to me, please? If he is, like I said, I'll apologize to him. I'll come get him and whatever else needed, and I'll apologize to you, and we can blank till the sun comes up.
Further, it was revealed that the alleged father was there for the birth and even signed the birth certificate. This time, even Mommy came prepared with concrete proof. So, with the procession, things started drowning baby daddy, but he was still confident in his defensive drama like this.
He came in and he was looking at the baby, playing with my son. He said, "So what you naming him?" I said, "I'm naming him after my brother." I said, "Cause that's what my grandma want me to do." "No, you're not. You're not naming him that. You're not naming him that. You're naming
I
him
left.
with somebody
Literally,
o'clock in the
I don't
morning."
even think it was 10 minutes. I looked at the baby. I said, look here, I gotta go. I got some things I gotta do, and I left.
Why
That
would
doesn't even sound right.
Seriously, that's exactly what happened.
Finally, Miss Glover was summoned to add some sense, but instead, she added fuel. As the woman testified that one of her acquaintances dropped a bombshell about Mr. Macon's adultery on her, and she tried to approach Miss Puckett, she locked the door in her face.
Steve's phone is ringing. So I'm like, who's that on the phone? He's like, oh, it's somebody playing on the phone. Let me answer that for y'all in the plan. Hello, who's this? She like, my name is so-and-so. Your man, Steven, is sleeping with her. I said, open the door. Next thing I know, I click, click, the lock. She didn't hit the lock. She got smart.
Were you there the day she knocked on the door?
Yes, I was there. And the way she was doing, boom, boom, boom.
I showed was.
As it was clear that Miss Glover was eager to take revenge on the plaintiff, she testified mean and offensive things. But Judge Lake sensed her intentions, so she articulated some vehement things for good.
She wouldn't have been prompted to fall in love enough to do something as silly as put his name on the back of her neck if he wasn't with her. From hearing Mr. Macon's testimony, he does not help it any. You just right in the middle with your hands in your pocket. You didn't have anything to do with it when you got everything to do with it and everybody got your name.
However, it was evident both parties were busy proving the other wrong, and nothing was helping in this jumble. Despite these, Mr. Macon was surely the rabble-rouse in this. Now, it was time to get results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Macon Sr., you are his father.
You sent her that text message talking about some that's your baby, that y'all gonna have sex on into the sunlight. Well, sunlight time, baby. I'll holler.
Infidelity is the relationship crusher, and when things like this happen, probably you end up in paternity court. Ms. Humphreys rolled into court to prove that Mr. Moosley was the biological father of her son. Likewise, the defendant urged baby mama to aim her arrow of fatherhood at her ex, whose relationship is in turmoil as a result of her accusations.
Ms. Humphreys, you are in court to prove that Mr. Mosley fathered your 2-month-old son, Tyler, while he was separated from the mother of his children. Mr. Mosley, you say she's going after the wrong man and that she should be pointing her paternity finger at her ex-boyfriend, Mr. Cook, because he's the baby's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, the trial with baby mama's confession of being intimate with both men at the conceiving point. The mother was convinced that the defendant was the biological father. However, Daddy's testimony will befuddle you.
When I got conceived, we were sexual. That was like the end of August, beginning of September.
Were you having sex with anyone else during that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was that sex also unprotected?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mosley, do the dates add up in your mind as she says she was intimate with you at the end of August?
Your Honor, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wasn't even paying attention. I was there for the sex.
However, the potential father explained his doubts by saying that he can only father light-skinned babies, and the plaintiff's baby did not possess any features similar to him. Man, this is not helping at all, right, folks? As you know, babies come in all shapes and colors.
I got light skin. Y'all see this? I got
It
light skin.
don't matter.
You're saying that your children look like you. You don't look anything like Tyler.
No, I don't. I mean, look at my children. They got my same chin. They got the big cheeks like me. Not only that, they was by the same woman and they still don't look like her.
And that leads you to doubt.
Yes.
Up next, Mr. Moosley tried his best to frame his baby mama. The guy played the blame game and asserted that nothing wrong would have happened if she had not left him alone. Oh my, this is what we call a blame shifter. Boy, you better stop beating around the bush.
All I can say is this, I feel like it's her fault too, Your Honor. She should never broke up with me. If she never broke up with me, I would never did what I did.
Also, it's Miss Robinson's fault.
Hey.
Miss Robinson, this is all on you. So Mr. Mosley says this is all your fault. This would not be happening if you had not left him, so you can blame yourself.
No.
So, it was time to hear from Miss Robinson. She said that what this court has seen was just the trailer that this licentious story had given her, because lustful individuals have somehow pulled her into their disaster.
This is his fault and this is her fault. And my thing is this, he's been doing things with women. This is the pinch of it. Out of all the people, Your Honor, that he messes with, she contacted me. She left me a message on Facebook. Tell my lying baby daddy what your lying behind. You brought me into this. I had nothing to do with what y'all had going on.
Further, it was revealed that the plaintiff was playing a game of paternity with both men, because she posted on Facebook that Moosley was not the father of her baby son. However, the baby knew how to blow it all.
She plays both men. That's what she's doing.
Okay.
She's playing both sides.
Why is this your business?
She's telling one man he's the father, then she's telling him a week ago on Facebook that James is not the father.
Because you keep doing this. Stop
see
doing
that,
this. Stop trying to be all up in my business.
You put me
Tyler
in that
don't belong to you.
on that.
Even though the promiscuity of Miss Humphrey and Mr. Moosley was at its peak, and they already had one baby in question, still they were messing around with each other. Oh my, somebody please stop them, or they're gonna have to roll up in here again.
What is the nature of your relationship with Mr. Mosley now?
We still sexual. We friends.
I can see by the look on your face that she's telling the truth.
She telling the truth.
So you still have sex with Miss Humphrey?
And still going to continue to once this is done.
Yes.
See? Yes. Drama.
No, it's the truth.
Nevertheless, the defendant confessed his love for Miss Robinson, but it got drifted when he let another woman in. That seems defensive, huh? Well, don't worry, baby mama cut his chase off like this.
I love Tamika, all right? I'm not in love with her. I used to be in love with her, but like, I kind of drifted off, you know what I'm saying? I never had a father in my life to actually teach me certain things. And I know I shouldn't put this in the picture. You know, my mother taught me characteristics of a man. She never taught me how to be a man.
You making babies and then you denying and you don't want to take care of the ones you have. That's the thing.
Finally, Judge Lake summoned the other potential dad to clear up this paternity mishmash. He declared that Miss Humphrey and Mr. Moosley were perfect deluders for each other, and was sure of not fathering the plaintiff's son like this.
To tell you the truth, I do not know. I mean, I would love to be his father, but them two, they both liars.
Yes.
They perfect for each
I'm
other.
all over
Especially
y'all
him.
finna
I
be-
went to take the DNA test. I see him and he told me him and Shanita haven't been having sex in months. But I just heard y'all say y'all having sex.
Here comes the spoiler alert. The baby mama was caught again. As it slipped, she was playing the part on both sides of this paternity question. Her mastery of swindling has been further revealed by more revelations.
Miss Humphreys, are you telling him that he's the child's father? And you're telling Mr. Mosley he's the child's father. Why is that your approach?
Because I was having unprotected sex with Mr. Cook and I was having unprotected sex with Mr. Moley.
But you didn't tell other one was a possibility.
I did.
It was evident both parties were lying, and their partners were suffering due to their mendacious nature. So, the only feasible way to solve this paternity riddle was to know what the DNA envelope is holding.
It has been determined by this court. His biological father is Mr. Cook.
Good.
Congratulations, Mr. Cook.
Mr. Montgomery stepped up in the court where a paternity nuisance smote him. He claimed that Miss Parker led him to believe that baby Timothy was his biological son, and she even allowed him to name the baby. However, when the defendant's ex-lover returned, she changed her mind.
Mr. Montgomery, you say Miss Parker led you to believe you fathered her 3-month-old son, Timothy Montgomery, but now Miss Parker says you're not the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Parker, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Montgomery is not your son's biological father because your fiance, Mr. Lanou, is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though the baby was named after the plaintiff's deceased father, it did not change the fact that baby mama was entertaining 2 guys, and this brought them to this scuzzy like this.
Ms. Parker, why would you allow him to do all of these things? Sign the birth certificate? At that time, did you not believe he was Timothy's
I thought he was the father because he looked just like Mark in the ultrasounds. And I believed that he was the father.
Like
I had sex with
no.
both of them around the same time and the same day.
It was revealed that the defendant's pregnancy weirded out her husband, who diverted his attention to video games. This opened the door of swindling for baby mama, and such revelations led to the burst of bickering in the courtroom.
A mutual friend of mine and hers introduced us. In the meantime, we're finding out that he's talking to her friends, talking to other women.
Right, but you prying on a woman who's with another man, right?
If you would have stepped up, been there, and actually satisfied her needs, you couldn't have if I wasn't.
Let's get some order.
This is a grown folks talk right here.
In the course of the trial, it was revealed that she had gotten back together with her lover, and they got intimate at her husband's place. Oh man, who even thinks of doing this nasty thing?
The first time he had left was the first time me and her met. Throughout the whole time, even told him that we were sleeping together after he came back.
Yeah, he did.
He used to go upstairs to shower, and I'm over there having sex with her downstairs or the same chair he's sitting in there playing Xbox.
The infidelity was kept a secret despite the arrival of a child. However, when the mother shared the shocking information about another possible father being involved, things took a wishy-washy turn.
I told him... and
3 weeks after he was born?
No,
Yep. But this is because during that time, Your Honor, that he had threatened to take Tim.
The first time she was able to have sex after the baby was born, she waited until after we were done to sit there and tell
I
me,
had sex
you know,
before I had sex
he's,
with you.
you know, I don't think you're the father. I think, you know, Luke's the father.
However, Mr. Montgomery did not let Miss Parker's promiscuity get in the way, and he developed a fatherly bond with the baby boy. But as you know, when the conniving person interrupts, things fall apart like that.
She called me, video Facebook chatted me on Father's Day to sit there because she goes, oh, well, on the off chance that, you know, you are Timothy's father. I respected that, you know, it made me feel good. You know, I got to see my son on Father's Day. This is my son, and it was dragged away from me by a conniving man who decided to sit there and come in between a relationship.
Even though the defendant was at fault, she was not ready to step back. She accused the plaintiff of being sexual with 2 women, but the man wiped all charges like this. Huh! Now, how do you defend that?
I've been there. I'm all he knows.
No, I was there.
Yes, he has.
That is my monkey man right there. I sat there and fed him
No,
bottles.
you
I
didn't.
changed diapers for him.
A few
I walked
times.
him around that complex.
One time.
I did one time.
One
Whatever.
time.
I have people who live in the same complex of her to sit there and vouch that they watched me walk around with my
One
son
time.
more than one time.
After a lot of drama, they could not agree on one point. As you know, swindling gives people a fuzzy time. So the last way to deal with this paternity mess was to get the DNA results.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Montgomery, you are not the father. Mr. Lanou, you are the father.
Married man had 3 different women pregnant at the same time. Quite odd. Believe it or not, but Mr. Barber had pulled such a stunt off. And we all know such juggling doesn't go on for long, because his baby mamas are up his throat for not giving the children the attention they deserve.
I believe that he supports his other child because he's still sleeping with his other child's mother. He had 3 women pregnant at the same time. He is a dog. He doesn't do anything for my child. I have to take care of my child by myself. Excuse me, I'm talking. I am talking. You do not interrupt me when I'm talking.
Okay,
Shut your mouth.
Let's
right
settle
now.
down.
Ooh, Miss Taylor was all charged up. She wouldn't let the defendant interpret a bit. The enraged woman testified to the court that her baby lacked a father figure for the past 5 years, while his father was busy with more babies with other women. And Miss Johnson backed her up.
He won't take mine. He says, I'm too difficult. I don't feel I'm difficult. She's not difficult.
And I should not have to sleep with my child's father just
what's
for
the
him
problem?
to take
Well,
care
that's the problem. Like, take care of your kids.
Women has to do with them taking care of my children.
Anybody has to take
It has nothing to do with my
because it shows how you
So,
treat your
Mr.
children.
Barber, let's get some order. Let's get some order.
As the trial proceeded, the defendant claimed that he never denied any of his children, as he had signed all the birth certificates, which was true. But it wasn't about such things. The whole riff was about Mr. Barber denying them his attention.
I had my daughter by myself. My mother's deceased. My family could not get there. He was not there. I called him and told him that I was being induced. He came. He stayed for 24 hours. You know, when you get induced, you never know when the baby's gonna come. He stayed for the first 24 hours and he left. I called him and I said, I'm 10 centimeters. I'm getting ready to push. He didn't come.
I gotta say, giving birth to a child with the father nowhere in sight is quite tricky. And while Miss Taylor's recollecting about it, we feel really bad for her. On the contrary, the defendant was not ready to be labeled as a baddie in the situation.
But I didn't show up. I wasn't there.
You
I
did
didn't
not
show up.
come
I didn't show
until
up.
hours
I didn't
later.
show up, but why?
You did
Why?
not come until
Why?
hours
What did I tell you I was
later.
doing?
What were you doing?
What was I doing? I was at work.
I don't know. You always lie. You always lie and say that you somewhere and you
I don't have to lie to you about where I'm at.
This is an emotional subject.
Emotional subject indeed. All the screaming and blaming did make the bitterness these parents had towards each other. However, things were not sweet between Johnson and Barber either, as the baby daddy might have cut the cord, but he was busy with another woman while mommy was in labor.
He cut the umbilical cord, but even when I was in labor in the delivery room, he was on the phone with her and other women in front of my family.
Mom, I wasn't with you when we had my child. I was not with you.
Oh, no,
yes,
but
I
you
was
said
there
we was
with my
about to be
child.
together.
I cut
You
the
said we was
umbilical
gonna
cord.
be
Yes,
together.
I admit
You
that
said
I
we
was
was gonna be
not a
together.
good
You
person.
wasn't sitting there talking to me.
I admit
We
that.
wasn't
I'm not
supposed to be
saying
sitting there saying we
that
was
I was the
together.
perfect person.
Yeah, right, whatever,
I'm not saying
Barbara.
that.
Wow, these people are loud. These exes are clearly up each other's throats. No one's ready to cut each other slack. In terms of his outburst, James confessed that ghosts of his past were still haunting him, even though he was trying his best to be a good father.
Yes, I've done some things, and I'm not perfect. No, I fall very short of that. But these women know that I love my children, and they know that.
You don't show it.
How don't I show it? I just took my baby out 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because
for you. What are you talking about? No, you know it had nothing to do with that. It had nothing to do with that.
Let's get some order.
Yeah, whatever dynamic they both have going on is unhealthy. Man, talk about having no respect for each other. And just imagine that there are children involved in this mess. Judge, knock some sense into them, please.
You two go to speak. I took a moment to just observe you. I mean, you go to not level 10, level 20 in a matter of 2 seconds. And there's no understanding, no compromise when you all are going at each other like that. And you all make me uncomfortable watching you yell and scream. I can only imagine what a child would feel like.
The judge did speak our mind in the courtroom. But anyway, all the commotion had to do with them being so young when they started having children, while they were children themselves. But now Dad was trying to make up for lost time.
I signed the birth certificates. I never asked none of these women for paternity tests. I don't love my children. I don't want to be there for my children. No.
Because you said your father always told you. Repeat that.
My father always told me if you can't do anything for yourself, how can you do anything for anybody else?
Why put yourself in the position when you're making children that you'll have to take care of?
Ain't no one should be making babies when they're not in the position of taking care of themselves. Shifting to the plaintiff, Miss Taylor claimed though the mister at the podium was telling his success story, he was nothing but a deadbeat.
Miss Taylor,
Yes,
has
Your
he
Honor.
sent anything to help you with your child?
He bought my daughter 2 packs of diapers.
And how old is your daughter?
My
Never
daughter
got that.
is 5 years old.
I never got 2 packs. I never got a pack.
And Miss Johnson, you saying you never got...
He never bought my son no diapers. I made do whatever I had to do to get my son diapers. He bought my son 3 pairs of shoes and 3 outfits.
Ugh, that is sad indeed now. Let's get to the part where at the tender age of 18, he had gotten 3 women pregnant. Speaking of which, it was about time that we got the 3rd baby mama in. The irony was that Miss Comper's child wasn't neglected at all.
I honestly feel like that it's not about the kids for them. It's more about they're bitter because things didn't work out for them how they planned. And I kind of feel like they had the kids out of spite. I feel like they're still in love with James.
After listening to both sides, it was clear that this lot had to put the past in the past and move forward for the better future of their kids. But getting back to the case, let's see what Judge Lake has to say about all this.
Mr. Barber, seeing as though you have acknowledged this child, signed his birth certificate, you have a responsibility to share in those expenses. And for that reason, I am awarding Ms. Johnson the $3,880 she's requesting for this court judgment for Ms. Johnson.
Cash, please.
Riding on the same ride, Marcel is back again for the 3rd time with the same question, but with a different woman. Doesn't this guy get tired of doing the same thing over and over again? Well, anyway, let's see how the whole thing started.
I met her on the website. I was looking for love, and I went to a website, and I ran into Crystal. 4 or 5 months into it, started getting suspicious about certain things. She gave me her voicemail, and I hear dudes in the background.
I gave my voicemail, Pastor, because I wasn't doing anything.
Okay, yeah, true that. But then dudes are leaving voicemails to her, talking about, oh, you sexy.
You had girls leaving voicemails on your phone and calling you.
All right. And all of this is coming from the guy who had 8 children from 5 different baby mamas. Easy to point fingers, ain't it? The irony was the woman in question had no idea about Mr. Scott's prior affairs. For her, the plaintiff was just the man of her dreams.
He honest with you about how many children he had?
No, he was not.
Yes, I was. I don't lie about my kids.
I only thought
So
that he had 5.
you didn't know that Mr. Scott had 2 3-year-olds, 2 6-year-olds,
No, I
a
did not.
7-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
She knew about all my kids. She knew
I
about
only
all
knew
my
about
kids.
5 kids.
8 months of relationship and a baby in the mix, and a doubt of paternity. What a mess! Mr. Scott had a whole thing going on with posing to be a rich Hollywood guy looking for love. But isn't this what he also had going on the last time he was here?
I wouldn't say it was love. On the internet site that I met him on, he wanted basically the same things I was looking for.
So, Ms. Kalan, you find out you're pregnant. And then what?
He was happy. He said, quote unquote, oh, mommy, we're going to be a family.
Your Honor, when he came to Michigan, he was calling me mommy.
That's what we agreed on.
After taking a look at that, now let's get to the doubt part. There has to be a reason for putting up the whole show. Well, it turns out, after some time of cyber dating, when Mr. Scott got to meet his new girlfriend, she was confused about cheating.
She would have told me this before I came. There wouldn't have been no situation.
At the end of the day,
She named the baby
that's
Honest.
why we're here, is because you claimed that she was intimate with this gentleman and you at the same time.
Of course she was,
And
'cause she didn't even
therefore, you have doubt concerning the paternity of her
course, because she
child.
didn't even tell me. She named the baby Honesty Love.
You admit that you cheated.
I cheated on Marcel. It was only one time.
Yeah, it only takes one time. However, the guy Miss Smith cheated with confessed that it was more than once. This made the plaintiff go like the baby is being pinned on me. As far as we've seen, this man Scotty is good at his game.
Why you doubt her?
It's only because of him. Because
Just
she lied.
because of this man.
Because she lied. And then she told me while she pregnant, she said, I'm still having sex with him. He's a better daddy than you.
I didn't say
She
that. I
but
said
then
that
she
because
had
I know
sex
how
with
to get
another
underneath his skin.
It doesn't
Because
make
he calls
sense.
and cusses me out. He still tries to
You cannot
control
be
me
doing-
throughout the last year that he disappeared on me.
And then what happened to your relationship?
After I admitted I cheated with him, he pretty much disappeared on me.
I didn't
I didn't
disappear. I
talk
was
to
there for
him
a month.
throughout
I came back in
the whole
October.
pregnancy.
But there's a twist in the story. Turns out that this baby wasn't something unexpected just from messing around between 2 people, but rather this baby was planned. Interesting. Quite a part to be left out.
Do you think that you all are going to raise this baby together? You're posting on Facebook. I can't wait to find out what we're having. That means you and Mr. Scott.
I thought that we were going to get past what had happened. We were talking about getting past it and getting over it. Once I told him I was pregnant, we fought for about another month afterwards, and then he changed his phone number on me, his Facebook, everything. He changed everything on me. I didn't talk to Marcel until I was like 8 or 9 months.
The adorable baby was stuck in quite a dilemma. Then the judge called up a witness who testified that the plaintiff was all show and no go. She further added that the con man had not paid a penny during his visits, while Crystal here took care of all the expenses.
He's a deadbeat.
Tell me again.
He comes to Michigan. Crystal paid for everything. He was so controlling. I offered for them to stay at my house so they didn't have to spend no money. He said, oh no, I got this, I'll pay for the hotel. Well, it turns around, Crystal paid for the hotel. He would not let Crystal leave the hotel. We had family cookouts so that he could get to know the family.
This brought up the defendant's claim about money, as she was looking for reimbursement for the money that she paid for Mr. Hotshot at the podium, while Miss Smith had all the receipts, and the plaintiff had nothing but smooth talk to back up his claims.
The podium's looking mighty empty, but
I don't
do you
need no
have some
documents.
receipts
I don't need no documents.
for
The truth
what
is right here.
you paid for as it relates to this trip?
Well, if I knew all this would come down, then I would have prepared myself a little more.
You should have prepared yourself.
But it don't even matter, because I don't even need no documents.
Well, 3rd time's the charm isn't gonna work on this one, trust me. Because we know one day he'll probably be back, and the judge knew it too. That's why the judge calculated all the amounts he had squeezed out of the poor baby mama and gave the verdict.
And I also don't have any evidence from you that you paid half of the $410 hotel expenses.
I don't owe
So
nothing.
my
That was my woman.
ruling is for the defendant on
That's
this
my
counterclaim
woman.
in the amount of $684.50.
That was
You
my
owe
woman.
her.
Yeah, there's no talking out of this jumble. and now even the judge was done with the baby daddy and his antics. None of his rambling was useful to Judge Lake. That's why she moved on to the part we were all waiting for.
In the case of Scott versus Smith, as it pertains to 3-month-old Honesty Smith, Mr. Scott, you are her father.
Told you. Keep their legs closed. Take care of your baby.
With 2 women at each side of the podium, this man was stuck in a love triangle that led to a paternity feud. And we all know how easy it is to deny a child whose mother isn't your boo anymore.
If anyone needs a DNA test, he needs to get one for the other child.
What other child?
My child. She just had a child 2 months ago.
You saying if he needs a DNA test, it's for that child?
Yes.
What's going on with that?
She has been known to sleep around while in relationships.
You heard the woman. It's not her baby who needs a DNA test, but rather the cherished girlfriend, because she was famous for pulling infidelity stunts on many men in the past. And paternity court had witnessed that firsthand.
In this particular hearing, you pretty much admitted to the fact that you had had sex with several members of the same family.
Yes.
And there were 2 men in court at that time, and the man who believed he was your child's father was determined not to be.
Correct.
Easy to blame other people, right? Unfortunately, she was on the same course again, as while Miss Fuentes was on the 3-day break from Mr. Pack, the woman slept with her ex, and just 3 weeks after, Miss Fuentes was pregnant. So, doubt does make sense.
When you slept with your ex, did you use protection?
No, I did not.
Was that within the window of time your child was conceived?
It was.
And this is baby Anthony?
Anthony, yes.
And so you admittedly say that during the window of time baby Anthony was conceived, you had gotten to an argument with Mr. Pack and you slept with your ex?
Yes.
Mr. Pack rightfully wasn't sure if the baby was his, but the baby mama had the same tune playing again. You know, the baby looks so much like the defendant. The only part is that looks can be deceiving. But anyway, let's get back to this triangle part.
We ended up getting back together, and she ended up telling me that when we was broken up, she went to her ex's house and slept with him. So it brings me a big concern on whether he is mine or not.
The way I feel about it is if you've seen my other 2 kids, they look identical. The one with the man that I slept with, my ex. This baby looks nothing like them. He looks like him. I know that baby is his.
Yeah, just kick the guy away, and he'll go out making more babies and baby mamas. What's wrong with people these days? The unusual part was that Mr. Pack didn't deny Miss Hummel's baby at first. He was actually quite excited.
As soon as I found out I was probably about 5-6 weeks pregnant, he looked at the pregnancy test and he almost started crying.
Because he was so excited?
Yes.
Do you remember this day, Mr. Pack?
Yes, I do.
And you were excited?
Yes, during the time I was excited.
Because you thought it was your child?
Yes, Your Honor. Somebody tells me that there's possibly it could be mine, so it's my first kid.
I'm sure you're all going like, where did all the excitement go just then? Such a drastic change of heart? Well, according to the plaintiff, it was the time when she broke up with a baby daddy. But Miss Fuentes testified otherwise.
At what point does Mr. Pack start acting like he doesn't want any parts of the pregnancy?
As soon as we broke up.
No, that's not what happened. He came to my house when they broke up 3 days later, and as we're going down the street to my friend's house, we saw her walking out of a house with another man. So he has reasonable doubt to think that this baby is not his.
So the guy at the podium believes that it was more than one man who could be the potential father of the kid. Mr. Pack even had a conception calendar to prove the smack dab of the breakup and the conception date.
Oh, so you're saying this entire time from January all the way till April, so you're right, that breakup came like, what, May? Around May?
Yep.
But you're saying throughout the time that he has outlined that you were broken up, you were really together?
Yes, we were.
Confusion, right? Well, anyhow, Mr. Pack testified that though they were living together, they were sleeping in different beds. Baby mama, however, denied such a dynamic. So the judge moved on to the steeping up part.
In this 7 months Lola has been on this earth, has Mr. Pack had any involvement with her?
Absolutely not.
Yes, he has.
Yes, I have.
Has he seen her?
Your Honor, and the DNA test is all I ever wanted. That baby's not mine, so I'm not going to sit here and spend my time and energy and my money on a baby I don't believe that's mine.
So he got no energy or time for the baby that might not be his. Well, how about being big enough to be there for a kid that might be yours? But that's what we're all here for, isn't it? To find that closure for the children. So let's find out the truth hiding in that envelope.
In the case of Hummel versus Pack, when it comes to 8-month-old Lola Hummel, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Pack, you are the father.
I told you.